Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our class here today on Joy Learning, the SHS Hour. This is a free extra classes via Zoom. I can see Emmanuel Corte, Jeremy Kanda, Abajekum Setre, and which Techno Spark. You are all most welcome. I just would like you to encourage your friends to join us. You can share the link to them so that they join us and we can start our lesson. And as you know, today is English. English language is such an interesting subject. You know, Ghana is our official language, and therefore it's important we take it seriously. I can also see that Rachel has joined us. Angela is there. Dennis Amopa is also somewhere there. That's your teacher. I'm here with you. So today, as we have said, I would still encourage you to share the links with your friends. And I hope we're going to have a wonderful time. Today, as I said, we have English, and we shall be looking at the topic identification of types of phrases and clauses. I know that in school you certainly will be taught phrases. Even in JHS we were taught phrases and clauses, but sometimes how to identify them has been a problem. But in our final exam, we will be expected to identify phrases or clauses and state their functions. So we're going to look at how to identify the phrases, what a phrase is actually, then how to find them. So let's look at this. So our interaction here is this, that by the end of this interaction, we should be able to identify words that form a group in a given sentence or given sentences. Then we'll be expected to identify the head word of each of the groups that we shall identify. Then we will try to identify 3 different types of phrases in given texts or sentences. And then before we go to the next topic, we would be expected to find what we call finite and non-finite verbs in sentences. So then our last objective is to identify 3 different types of clauses in given sentences. So you will see that our objectives cover our identification of phrases as well as the clauses. I have something for us to do. So this is what we are to do. We are going to try to put some words I'm going to give you into groups. Okay, so let's look at this first one. Our first sentence is, the lady is writing a letter. Our second sentence is, Kofi sang the song very well. And our third sentence is, Sheila came with a younger brother. Saying this one should be younger brother. Okay, Sheila came with a younger brother. So let's correct this. It should be younger. Okay. Sheila came with a younger brother. Okay. Then we have Joe and Moke are quite interesting. Okay. These are the sentences that I would like you to look at. These, as I've said, the instruction at the top says, try to put the words that form each of the following sentences into groups. So that's our work. I'd like us to do that briefly in just some 30 seconds. let's see the words that go together, and then we will continue with what we want to look at. If you looked at them closely, I'm sure you've been able to group the words in each of the sentences. Could I have a volunteer to give me the groups in the first sentence? We are doing this together, so.
The lady.
Who is talking, please? The number one, who is doing it for us? Who is doing the number one for us?
Okay, the number one is the lady is writing a letter.
Good, that's the sentence. But we want to see the groups that are in that sentence. I said when we read them closely, we notice that the words that form that sentence are in groups. So could you identify these groups for us?
No, is it subject or
Are you trying? Okay. Okay, let me guide you so we'll do this together. If you look at them, you notice that the lady is one group. Have you seen that? And then we have is writing, it's also another group. And a letter is also another group. Have we seen that?
Yes, sir.
Good. Then we move on to the second one. Once I've done the first one for you, I guess you'll be able to do the second one for me.
okay. Kofi sang.
So the first one.
Okay.
The sentence is Kofi sang. The sentence is Kofi sang the song very well.
Kofi sang the song.
So the group.
The song. S-O-N-G. Well. Okay.
Yes, sir. So the first group of words, Kofi sang.
That's one.
That's one. Kofi sang.
One.
Have you seen look at it well, Kofi and sang? Can they be a group? When you look at the first one, you see that the lady was one, and then we had is writing, and we had a letter. So the second one, Kofi sang the song very well. As you were reading, you see that you mentioned some words together. Kofi sang the song very well. So have you got the clue now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is talking? Please, before you talk, you can raise your hand. I think Emmanuel Corte has raised the hand. Emmanuel.
Yes, sir.
So what are the groupings in the second one?
And the second one is Kofi is one group. Sang is also one group.
Kofi is one group.
Yes, sir.
Great. And then the next group?
The song very well.
You sing very well and song are of the same group?
No, sir. So the song is one group.
Great. The song is one group and very well is also another group. Please, have we seen that? So you notice that those that form the first group belong to a certain word class. Look at the lady, Kofi. Then you have is writing, and we come to sang. They seem to belong to the same, well, they belong to the same word class. If we did word classes or what we call parts of speech. So let's look at the third sentence, and then let's do the groupings quickly. Robin is on, right? Can I see my hands? Okay. Techno. I don't know the name, but it's Techno Spark. So could you please mention your name for me?
Okay, this is Hafiz. Sumani Hafiz.
Sumani Hafiz. Wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Please, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Sandima, Upper East region.
Upper East. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's great. I'm happy to know that you have come on the platform today. Okay. And
thank you, sir.
Could you do this third one for us?
Okay, the third one. The sentence is Sheila came with her younger brother.
Great. Sheila came with her younger brother. So what are the groupings then?
The first group. Okay, Sheila is one group.
Which one?
The third one, Sheila.
Sheila is one group. Great.
Came with. The second group came with.
So came with. But can we just say came? We can say Sheila came, right?
Okay.
So came can stand there.
Yes, sir.
Her younger brother can also be a group.
Okay.
Have we noticed that?
Okay.
Good. Then let's go to the fourth sentence. The fourth sentence. I want to see the hands. I've seen people, Kwame Lacard or Lacklard. Okay, Jeremy Kanda. Yes. Jeremy, your hand is up. Could you please speak?
The fourth one is Joe and Moke are quite interesting. The first one.
The first group.
The first grouping is Joe and Moke.
Great.
The first grouping is Joe and Moke.
Yes, please go ahead. That's great. Then the second group.
Sir.
Yes, Enoch.
Yes, sir.
Enoch, your hand is up. Okay, so help us.
Sir, what question 3?
No, question 4. That's sentence 4. Sentence 4.
Okay. Joe and Moke are quite interesting.
That's the sentence. Great. So we want the groups. I think Kwame found the first group for us. Joe and Moke as the first group. Then we have R. R is also one group, and quite interesting is also another group. And quite interesting. Have we seen that? Okay, so Hafiz from Sandema. Hafiz, do we do the last one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, please, the last, I couldn't get the sentence.
Oh, sorry. The last group, we have all the students in my class have been selected. All the students in my class have been selected.
Okay, sir.
Have we seen that? Okay. So
yes.
we want to look at the groupings. when you read, you see that you read in groups, and that is what we are.
Yes, sir.
So,
sir, please.
So, Hafiz, let's go. Yes, give me the groupings.
Okay, the groupings, we have the first grouping, all the students.
Good, all the students. Yes.
Then the second, we have in my class.
In my class, great. And then the last one is.
Then the last have been selected.
Great. So these groupings are what we want to talk about. Okay. When we look at the first sentence, the lady is writing a letter. You notice that the lady forms one group. And in that group, the is in the second group of the first sentence is there because of the word lady. Do you notice that?
Yes, sir.
We cannot say there is writing a letter, but we can say lady is writing a letter together.
Yes, sir.
A lady is a noun. Okay? So it is the noun that controls that group. When we come to the second one, is writing, we see that we have is and writing. And the one that helps us to understand the group is writing. And writing is a verb. Even though is also a verb, writing is what we call the main verb, right? So that group is also controlled by a verb. So we call that one a verbal group. The first one, because the noun controls the group, we call it a noun group. Okay. And then we go to a letter. That which gives us meaning there, that which we understand is letter. And letter too is a noun. Do you all agree that letter is a noun?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, got it. Great. So that is also a noun group. We come to the second sentence, Kofi, one group, which is also a noun. So that's a noun group. Sang is a verb. So that is also a noun group. The song, okay, it's also, no, the song is a noun. The name of that which is sung is the song. So once you see the coming before a word, then it will be introducing a noun. So song is the name. You will sing a song, right? And then we have very well. Very well will be how the song was sung. So that well here is adverb, adverb of manner. Have you seen that? All of that in.
Okay.
All of that in.
Yes, sir.
And come to the next one. Sheila came with her younger sister. We have Sheila as a name of a person, so it's a noun. And then came is a verb, so it's also one group. No. And with her younger brother, you see with beginning that structure. Okay, so because with is beginning that, we call that one a prepositional group because with is a preposition. Okay, even though it has other things added to it. So all of these are what we wanted to look at. So you will see that the first sentence, these were what we were expecting. The lady, one group, is writing, one group, a letter, one group. Then the second one have Kofi, one group, sang, one group, the song, one group, very well, another group. Then we come to Sheila, one group, came, one group, with a younger brother. I said, this is younger, right? Younger. Younger brother, that's one. And then we have Joe and Moke, one group. Okay, they are all nouns. So if you don't want to say, you can replace it with one word. So Joe and Moke, you can replace it with what you know already, which is the pronoun they. So we can say they are quite interesting, right? And you can only replace a word with a pronoun if that word is a noun. Okay, so we have are, which is also a verb, and quite interesting. Interesting book. So interesting is an adjective. They refer back to Joe and Moke. So that's another group. and then we come to all the students. That is one group, because that is headed by students, which is a noun. And then in my class, because it begins with in, that's a prepositional group. Okay, and then have been selected. They all have the auxiliary verbs have, been, and the main verb is selected. So we call that group a verbal group. What we want to look at are these types of groupings. And these types of groupings are what we refer to as phrases. Okay, so we say a phrase is a word or a group of words which come together, okay, which together can be replaced with a single word in a sentence. So let's look at it well. When we say a phrase, we are talking about a word or a group of words which together can be replaced with a single word in a sentence. And generally, what we call a phrase has what we call a head word. A head word. That word is critical. Every phrase has a head word. By head word, we mean that that word controls the group. So if I want to name the phrase, I will name the phrase based on the head word. So as we saw from the beginning, we saw the lady. The head word there is lady. And the part of speech of lady is a noun. So this group is called a noun phrase. Okay, and when we come to its writing, because writing is the head there, we call it a verbal phrase. Okay, and then we have a letter, where letter is a noun. So that is also a noun phrase. I hope you are following.
Yes, sir.
Great. So
Yes, sir.
we come to our definition as we were looking at. We're saying that, sorry, we come to our definition here. We're saying that a phrase is a word or a group of words which together can be replaced with a single word in a sentence. And that generally, it is the head word of the phrase that is its name. Okay, so let's look at these ones. Like Kofi sang the song beautifully. We have said that Kofi will be what? What phrase would that be?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
Wonderful, because Kofi is a noun. It's the part of speech is a noun. Then sang, what would be the name?
Verb phrase.
Verbal phrase or verb phrase, right? And then the song, what would it be?
Yes, sir.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Noun phrase. Why? Because song is a noun, right? And then
Yes,
very
sir.
well. Very well.
Yes.
Well. How? Okay, so that would be an
Adverb of
noun. Yes, so adverb phrase or adverbial phrase. I hope you get that. Great.
Okay.
So let's look at this
sir.
one. The first one. Hello. Hafiz.
Sir, please. Yes, sir. Can you say adverb of manner?
Yes. So that what we are looking at for is whether it is an adverbial phrase or a noun phrase or a verbal phrase. You get that. But the idea of the manner will help you to know that any word that expresses manner is an adverb. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When we were in JHS, we were taught adverb of manner, adverb of time, adverb of place. At the SHS, those ideas will help us to identify the structures. All that we are interested in is for you to say, this phrase is an adverbial phrase, it's an adjectival phrase, or it's a noun phrase. That is what we do here. But the manner idea will help you. I hope you get that. We are learning phrases.
Yes, sir.
Hafiz, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, please.
Great. So we move on to the next one. Say Sheila came with her younger brother. What are the phrases there? Sheila is a noun phrase. Great. And then
Noun.
Yes.
came
Verb phrase.
verb phrase or verbal phrase.
Verb phrase or
Verbal phrase. Okay. Then with her younger brother. Prepositional phrase because it's headed by that preposition. Okay, great. And great. And then we move on to the next one. Joe and Moke are quite interesting. What are those phrases?
Joe and Moke is a noun phrase.
It's a noun phrase because what?
Joe and Moke is a noun.
They are nouns, okay? They are names of people, okay? So, and then if it's a noun phrase, then we can replace the whole group with a pronoun because pronouns are words that we use to replace nouns, right? So if something is a noun phrase, then you can actually replace it with a pronoun. Okay, so Joe and Moke, noun phrase. How about are?
Prepositional phrase.
Are is a verb. Oh, you don't think so?
verb.
We have learned verbs before.
Yes.
Are. Yes. Are is a verb. You know, we call them the verb to be. And the examples are is. The past tense of am and is was. So if you say I am studying, if I want to say it in the past, I'll say I was studying. Okay, they are writing or they are here. You say they were writing or they were here. So any word that can change from the present to the past or past to the present is a verb. We have learned that before. So you can go back to our YouTube channel and then you will find verbs. They were treated there. Don't forget. Okay, there are several ways we can identify verbs and all of them have been treated there. So don't you forget to, as we are still learning, to share the link with your friends so that they can join us. When we are done, I'll give you some assignment and then you can still submit them to us. I'll mark and give you a feedback. Okay? So that's it. Quite interesting. What's that? What's that group? Interesting. Can we use it to form a sentence? Can we say an interesting book? Can we say that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so you can, once we say an interesting, yes, that's an adjectival phrase or an adjective because interesting describes both. And therefore, quite interesting refers back to Joe and Moke. I will say that. So it's describing them. Great. Then our last one is all the students in my class have been selected. The first group, all the students is what phrase?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
Why is it a noun phrase? We have to justify it this time. Why is it a noun phrase?
Represents a group.
It's like it represents a group of people, students.
We agree, but what is the head word there? Because we said that a noun phrase or a phrase must have a head word. So what's the head word in that group?
The students.
Students is the head. Okay, and because students is a noun, then that group is a noun phrase. Okay, then the second one, what's the name? In my class.
Prepositional.
It's a prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase, right? Okay, because it's headed by a. Good. And then the last one.
Adverbial phrase.
Adverbial phrase.
Verbal phrase, or you can say verb phrase, right? So
Yes.
there are the groups. We are going to take them one after the other. So there are 5 types of clauses, phrases that we want to identify here. The first one, as we know, is the noun phrase, right? Then we have the verbal phrase. Then we also have the adjectival phrase. And then we have the adverbial phrase. And then we will be looking at them. We have the prepositional phrase. We looked at all of these in the groupings when we were able to group them. But at the SHS level, there are about 3 of them that questions will be asked on. But the verb phrase will still help you. It's important to know the verb because the verb is critical in everything that we do. Without a verb, there will be no sentence. If you want to talk about yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it is the verb that will help us to identify that. So the verb is very, very important. And our ability to identify them is critical in our understanding of a lot of topics in the English language. So we're going to look at them one after the other. Our first one is the noun phrase. What is a noun phrase? Okay. What we are saying here is that a noun phrase is a word, just as we had like the lady or Kofi is here. Okay. So a noun phrase can be a word or a group of words which has a noun as its head. It is important. A noun phrase is a word or a group of words which has what? A noun as its head. So before you say that any group of words is a noun phrase, then the most important word there that controls the group should be a noun. Even our sentence, a word or a group of words here is a noun phrase because we can say this is a word, right? You can say this is it. The whole of that can be replaced with it. Okay? And then the other fact is that the word or group of words, as we have said, can be replaced with a pronoun. So any group of words or any word that you call a noun phrase can be replaced with a pronoun. Let's keep that in mind. Now, when I see a word underlined and I'm asked to find the type of phrase, then I try first. If I can replace it with a pronoun, then that group of words is a noun something. Okay? When it's a noun phrase, there will be no verb in it. Let's look at this one. So a noun phrase is usually introduced by determinants. I say usually because it's not always. But what are determinants? Determinants are what you know or what you call as articles. Okay? The articles, yes, we know them. What are they? What are the articles that we know? In English. Okay.
We have N.
And. Okay. And.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the. Okay. So these are the articles that we know. The first one, is an indefinite article, and is also an indefinite. But when the word begins with, let's say, a word that has a vowel at the beginning, like egg, we say an egg, right? But if it is a word that begins with a consonant sound, then we will say eh. For instance, table or plate or phone, we say a phone. But if it's orange, because we begin with a vowel sound, we say an orange. But there is used to show what we call specificity, specificness. But wherever there is there, and now it's likely to be there. So when I find a group that begins with a or an or there, then I'll say that group is a noun phrase. I won't waste my time at all. As soon as I see it, then I'll say this is a noun phrase. Okay? There are other determinants like mine, your, okay, our, his, yes, hers, theirs. Okay, whenever we see my, there will be a noun. We call these determiners possessive determiners. They show ownership. So you say my car is a noun. My father. Okay, so when I see a group of words underlined and there's my beginning it, then that group of words is a noun phrase. You can use our, you can use your, you can use his. His what? His friend. Friend is a noun. His father. Okay, her teacher. Teacher is a noun. Their house. Do you agree to what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Great. So all of these are now, they are all determiners and they will introduce nouns. And when you see them beginning a group, then we say this is a noun phrase. Okay, that's why I say that the noun phrase is usually introduced by determiners. And I've listed some of them there for you. So don't you forget that a noun phrase is a group of words which has a noun as its head. Okay, and we have said that the phrase is a group of words that can be replaced with a single word, usually without a subject and a predicate. So a phrase doesn't have a subject and predicate. And I know you know what predicates are. We have learned all of that on Joy Learning in SHS, during SHS hour. And when we go back to the YouTube channel or my Joy Learning, you will find it there. The videos are there. You can watch them on any day and you understand what subject and predicates are, but we review them. So that is it. Let's look at this one. So I have some examples for you. Some of the examples, I think I have to clean this. Let me clean this. So we have these examples. The young lady who won the ultimate prize is a Ghanaian. Okay, so when you see the underlying expression, it begins with the. Have you seen that? Because it begins with the, then it's a noun phrase. What is that word which controls the group? The word which controls the group is lady.
Lady.
Yes. Have we seen that? Lady.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And so it is that which helps us to select the verb. So if you don't want to write the whole of this long sentence, as you have said, we can replace the whole stretch with a pronoun, which depends on the word lady. What pronoun would we use?
She.
She. Great.
She.
Okay. She is a Ghanaian. Have you seen that? And therefore,
Yes, sir.
the young lady who won the ultimate prize is a noun phrase. I'm giving you the clue.
Yes.
I hope you are following. That when I see a group of words beginning with an article, or what we call determiners, then that group is a noun phrase. And I just try and see if I can replace that structure with a pronoun. But the pronoun should depend on the noun head. So the noun head, the head here is lady. The young, yes, the and young are all what we call modifiers. They are sort of describing lady. They have come to attach themselves to the noun. Then do we see another noun phrase here? A Ghanaian. Have we seen that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why is it a noun phrase? Because it also begins with a. Have you seen it?
Yes.
A determiner.
Yes, sir.
So that's also a noun phrase. Great. Let's go to the next one. What's that? What are the examples there? The second sentence. Kofi has read all the books. Kofi is also a noun phrase. Do we agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can we replace it with a pronoun?
He.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so we use he. And once we can replace Kofi with a pronoun, then Kofi to me is a noun phrase. But you see that because Kofi is a name of a person, we don't have to begin it with a determiner. Okay, so we just have Kofi as. Then the other one, all those books. You see, all is also there. All is also a determiner.
Yes, sir.
And those we call it a demonstrative determiner. Okay. And then the head of that group is what? Books. Are we saying that? So if I don't want to write all those books, what will I use? What pronoun would I use for them?
Them.
What do you use? Them. Great. So we say he has read them. And because you can replace the whole structure with that pronoun, then we say it's a noun phrase. The pronoun depends on books. We are able to use them because of books. How about the last one? Our favorite teacher is here.
He is here.
Is this also a noun phrase?
Yes,
We can say he is here, he or she is here, right?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
And so what is the head of that group?
Teacher.
Teacher. Great. Wonderful. Teacher. So that because teacher is also a noun, they call that group a noun phrase. Thank you very much. You have done it. I'm excited for you. So now we look at this one. We are to identify the noun phrase in each of the following sentences. Do it quickly, and then I'll come back to you. Try and do it quickly for me.
Calvin Okoko.
I am back. I hope you are done.
Yes, sir.
Great. So where are noun phrases in the sentences? But before you give me your answers, I would please like you to send us here on Joy Learning your name, please, in the chat box. Type your name, your school, and your location. Please, we would like to get in touch with you. Your name, your school, and your location in the chat box. Do that for me, right? We'll be very happy to get in touch. Okay.
Are you going now? No, are you going now for the survey? This time. My goal is here. No, I'm asking. Down.
Okay, so can we get the answers? Kote, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are my answers? Number one, what are the nouns? The noun phrases.
So the noun phrases, the person.
The person. Great. That's one.
The money.
So
The money.
Great. Hi, you are wonderful people. So the person is a noun phrase. The money is also a noun phrase. Great.
Yes, sir.
Why
Sir,
do we say
please,
the person?
Sir, please, what about I don't know?
I don't. So do we have a noun there?
No, we have a pronoun.
Good.
I.
So sometimes that is also seen as a noun phrase. Okay, because they're now equivalent. Okay, so if that were underlined in any exam and they ask you what is the grammatical name, you could as well write it as a noun phrase. That's perceptive. That's great. The next one, the lead title was one. Yes.
Your name, your school.
The league.
The league. Okay.
And my team.
The league title, the whole of that. Okay. So you see that the league is describing title. You can't leave title out. Have you seen that? The league title. Then the next one. What's the next? My team, because there's mine there. The determinants are there. Okay. The next one, quickly.
The man.
The man. Great. And so, as you said, we will also consider we because it's a pronoun. So we say that's that. The man.
The case.
The case. They are all noun phrases. Great. The next one. Hello.
The boy.
That boy, or is the boy?
So is that boy? That boy.
That boy. Okay. Then the next one.
And the tree.
The tree. So tree is the head of that group. Have you seen that? Great.
Yes.
And probably we will say that me. If you say that boy under the tree punished Kwame, or because me comes after the verb, that's why we use me, right? You can't say that boy under the tree punished I, okay? Because me is object pronoun. So we take it as also a noun phrase, right? At the highest level. Great. Now we come to the next group, which we call the verbal phrase, right? Or what you can call the verb phrase. So the verbal phrase is made up of a verb or an auxiliary verb and a main verb. Okay. So when we say a verb, it can be one word, which is a verb. And you know verbs. From basic school, we were told a verb is an action or doing word. That is true to an extent, right? It's true, but not all verbs are action verbs. As we notice, are is a verb, but it doesn't show any action. And is, if you say, I love you, do you do something? If I say think, will you do something? So we move ahead and say that, okay, a verb is any word which can also change from present to past or past to present. So when you see any word that can change to present, from past to present, then it's a verb. Okay? And then any word that can also take ing to show that the action is continuing, it's also a verb. So if I say Kofi is singing, then singing is a verb because it has taken the ing. And is is also a verb because I can change it to Kofi was singing. Okay, so that is what I want you to know quickly because it's on, you can find them on the YouTube channel of Joy Learning. They are all there. We have taught all of them, so we are reviewing them. So the verbal phrase is made up of a verb or an auxiliary verb and a main verb. So let's look at the first one. You see, Abu comes here often. So the verbal group is what? Comes. What is Abu? What group is that? Or what phrase is that?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
What is it, please, Cote? I didn't quite get you.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase, because Abu is a name of a person. And we can also replace it with he, right?
He.
And then comes, yes.
Yeah.
Then the next one, what's the verbal group as we have seen? We see that we have and spotted. The have is the auxiliary verb and the spotted is the main verb. The two come together to form the verb phrase or the verbal phrase. So the verbal phrase can be a word as in comes alone, can also be more than one, where we have an auxiliary verb and a main verb. We can also have Shirley has been doing this for years. You see there we have about 3 of them. We have has, we have been, and we have doing. But where the action is, where the main verb is doing. But they are all verbs. So we also call that the verbal group. Okay, so before you say something's a verbal group, there should be a verb in it. Then we have the Lamisi was here today. Lamisi was here today. Hafiz, yes, Lamisi was here today. So what is our verb there?
Lamisi.
No, our verb.
Was.
And that's a verb,
Our
verbal group.
Yes.
The verb is was.
And then Lamisi is our
noun phrase.
Noun.
Our
phrase.
noun.
Our noun phrase. So how about here?
Preposition.
Here will be
A noun.
place. You know place, right?
SS. What? Here is a noun.
It's a noun by place. So that's why we call it it's a noun. It's a place. But because it shows place, then we say it's an adverb, right? And then today too is a noun, right?
Yes, sir.
But it can also be seen as an adverb. If you say she was here today, it's like this time. And because it's the time you are expressing, then it becomes an adverb. Okay. Good. Then we go to the next group, which is the adjectival phrase. So let's see. The adjectival phrase has an adjective as a compulsory element, and the word here is compulsory. So before I will say that a group is an adjectival phrase, then there should be an adjective there as the head of the group. So let's look at these ones. Jifa seems happy. We know Jifa to be a verbal or noun phrase, noun phrase, and then seems is our verb phrase, right? Seems is our, and happy will be what adjectival or adjective phrase. Because you can say happy, happier, happiest. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Frank is there. I have not heard from you, Frank. You are there. And I can see Opoku Kelvin, Ejewa Hansen, all of you are hidden there. I want to hear from you. Mary, I will see you, Rachel, all of you are there. Wonderful. And as we have been told, we are to type our names, our schools, and our location in the chat box. We'll get in touch with you. You've all done it wonderfully. God bless you. I'm happy that you are there. We are learning, I suppose. We are learning well. So, adjective phrase here is, or adjectival phrase is the what? Happy, because it can go happy, happier, happiest. We can also have this. Look at this. We can say, Jifa seems extremely happy. Now we see that the happy, we have added extremely. They all go together. Where extremely is called the degree, okay, the degree adverb. It shows the extent to which Jifa is happy. Okay, so they go together. That's a group. And that group is called an adjectival phrase. Don't forget, before you name any group, you have to look at the word that is the head there. So the head of this is happy, and happy is an adjective. So we call this one adjectival phrase or adjective phrase. Then Jifa seems extremely happy indeed. You see, something has been added. All of that are together. So Jifa seems extremely happy indeed, and indeed is an intensifier. And they all come together to give you the adjective or adjectival phrase, because the head there is an adjective. Let's look at this one. Now is too proud. Now is too proud. What is our adjective?
Too proud.
Too proud.
Proud.
Too proud. Proud is our adjective, and the intensifier, the degree is the two, and they go together. And what group is this? What group is S?
Auxiliary.
No, what group is S? Here we are talking about phrases. So what phrase is S?
Verb phrase.
Verbal phrase or verb phrase. You remember, S is a verb. So it's a verb phrase. And then now, what phrase is now?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Yes, I can hear Frank talking there. Noun phrase. Good. So we come to the next one, which is the adverbial phrase. And as Hafiz was saying, when you hear adverbs, then we begin to talk about place, manner, time. So any word that will show place, manner, time, okay, is an adverb. And let me add this. When adverbs begin sentences, they usually have comma coming after them. Okay. So let's look at this one. So we say this is a phrase that has an adverb as its head. So there's an adverb as the head of the group. Let's look at these sentences.
Adverbial.
He left the room very quickly. He left the room very quickly. Let's identify all the phrases there. What is our first phrase? He. We say
Noun
he
phrase.
can be seen as a noun phrase, right? Because
Yes, sir.
it
Yes, sir.
represents a noun. Do you agree?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree?
Adverbial.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And
Yes,
then
sir.
left. What is left?
Verb phrase.
Verbal phrase.
Verb phrase.
Verbal phrase or verb phrase. Great. And then the room.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase,
Noun.
because the head
Yes.
is room, right? And then what is left is
Yes,
what
sir.
we are concerning ourselves with. What is that
Very
one?
quick.
Adverbial phrase.
Adverbial phrase. You see, as Hafiz was saying, you say, how did he leave the room? That's the manner. But at SHS, you will not have to say the manner. Your work is just to say that it is a phrase. Why is it a phrase? Because it doesn't have any verb in it. Okay, it's a phrase because it can be replaced with a, but it doesn't have a subject. Okay, so the head there is quickly. So that's an adverbial phrase or adverb phrase. Let's look at the next one. Sally speaks quite well. What is our adverb phrase?
Quite well.
Quite
Speaks.
well.
Quite well,
Yes.
because we know speaks is what?
Yeah.
A
A
verb
verb.
phrase or a verb phrase. And Sally is what?
Yeah.
A noun phrase.
Noun phrase.
A noun phrase. Here we are talking about phrases. So whatever you say, you add phrase to it, right?
Yes, sir.
And then
Yes,
quite
sir.
well will be, quite well is manner. And manner shows that what phrase is that?
Adverbial phrase.
Adverbial.
Adverbial. Look at the heading there, adverbial phrase. Great. Then the next one we have Miss Darko drives very fast. Miss Darko drives very fast. Let's identify all the phrases there. The first one is what? Miss Darko.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Good. Okay.
Drives.
Drives is what?
Verbal.
Verb phrase.
Verb phrase.
Verb phrase or verbal phrase. Then very fast.
Yes, sir.
Adverbial.
Adverbial phrase.
Adverbial. I think Ajewa wants to say something. Ajewa raised their hand. Sorry. Ajewa, next time. Hansen, you wanted to say something.
Yes, sir, please, I wanted to answer, and I've put in the group that can we please raise our hands before answering the question?
That's quite true. So when you raise your hand, then I'll call you. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
we are giving chorus answers. Thank you very much, Ajewa. That's true. Okay. So this one is for Ajewa. You get us all the phrases.
The work, the work
The-
is a noun phrase.
Great. What is the noun there? Work, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, then the next one.
What is a verbal phrase?
But how about done?
Was done.
Okay, I think it moves with the done, was done.
Yes, so that one they are together. And that's why we say that a verb phrase or a verb phrase can be made up of just a word or an auxiliary verb and a main verb. Okay, so when I see an auxiliary verb and a main verb, I won't leave one out. I have to bring them together. I hope you're okay.
Yes,
Great.
please.
And then rather slowly. They go together. So that would be
adverbial phrase.
adverbial phrase. The head is slowly, right? And rather shows the degree. Okay, good, Ajewa. Good. So this one is for somebody who raised a hand for me. Yes, you raised a hand. Would you raise the hand now? Okay, Frank. Frank has raised his hand. Okay, so Frank.
Okay, so Anita is the noun phrase.
Good. Can you give me 2 reasons why Anita is the noun phrase?
Actually, so it, because it's a name.
It's a name of a person. Good.
Yeah,
And it's
and
a
it can
proper
be
noun
replaced.
at that.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and can also be replaced by a pronoun.
Can be replaced with a pronoun. And what pronoun would you use for Anita?
She.
Great, great,
She.
great. She. Okay, the next one, Frank, we are still on you. Yes.
Okay, the next one is sang, which is verb phrase.
Verb phrase. Good, good. Because it shows an action, right? And it's,
Yes.
yes. Let's go to the next one.
The next one is the song, which is also a noun phrase.
A noun phrase because it's also introduced by the determiner there. Is that true?
Yeah. Yes.
Good. And the song is a name of what we say. Okay. And then beauty.
And the last one
Forgive.
is the adverbial phrase.
Adverbial phrase. Great, Frank. Great. I hope Kote, everybody, Hafiz, Ejedim Searcher, you are there. I've not heard from you. I hope you are following.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Great.
There.
I'm happy you are there. Okay. So let's go to the prepositional phrase. Okay. So the prepositional phrase basically is this. It says this is a group of words which has a preposition as its head. Okay. It comprises an obligatory preposition, which is followed by a noun phrase or a pronoun. So when I see a group headed by a preposition, we call it a prepositional phrase. And that group can be made up of a noun phrase. It can be made up of a preposition like we have here. You see the sentence there?
Yes, sir.
Ejewa, read for us. Ejewa, read for us.
Adam came home in the evening.
Okay, Adam came home in the evening. So have we seen the prepositional phrase underlined?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. That is what? In the evening. You see that we have a preposition here, and the other one is a noun phrase, right? So when
Yes,
you
sir.
have a preposition followed by a noun phrase, that group is called a prepositional phrase. And you see, in the evening gives us a sense of time. Is it true?
Yes, sir.
So that if I ask a question, what question would I ask? So that in the evening will be my answer.
When did Adam come home?
When did Adam come home? And when we ask a question like when, what are we talking about? It's not time.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are talking about time.
Okay, so exactly. So when we go to the WAS, okay, when we are taking exam to the WAIC marking scheme, when you see a prepositional phrase which will give you a sense of time, then we also call it an adverbial phrase. But in your mind, it's a prepositional phrase. But when you are writing the answer, because it gives you a sense of time, we call it an adverbial phrase. So when we see the prepositional phrase, we will be looking at what it will be telling us, what it will be showing us. Will it be talking about manner? Will it be talking about time? Will it be expressing place? If it does that, then we will be looking at it in terms of it being adverbial phrase, or it can do another thing. So let's look at it again. Let's look at the next one. Let's look at this one. Let's. Who is reading for us? Raise your hand. Raise your hand for me. Okay, Hafiz. Yes.
I left my money on the table.
Okay.
Yes.
So Hafiz, you said money. I said left the money. So Hafiz, let's go.
I left the money on the table.
Okay. So on the table is a prepositional phrase. We agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because we have the preposition on and the noun phrase the table. Okay, what question would I ask so that on the table will be my answer?
Where?
Somebody has raised their hand. Frank has raised their hand. Okay, Opoku Kelvin has not spoken. Opoku Kelvin, please. Where did you? Your line is dragging. Oh, okay, good. So we heard you. Where did you leave the money? And when we ask the question with where, what are we looking at? Place, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that what talks about place? What part of speech talks about place?
Adverb.
Adverb.
Adverb. So this one they call it an adverbial what? Phrase.
Place of time.
Even though it's a prepositional phrase, so you know where right place, but the place will give you an idea that because the expression which is a prepositional phrase also give me a sense of place, then we call that one an adverbial phrase. When it also talks about time in the morning, we also look at it as being an adverbial what? Phrase. That's what the WAEC marking scheme has always told us. So we shouldn't forget this. In my mind or in our minds, we know it is a prepositional phrase. Okay, and we will ask ourselves questions what that prepositional phrase is doing. If it's telling us time, place, or manner, let's look at the next one quickly. Somebody should read for us. Who's reading for us?
I couldn't attend.
So I think Kote will read, or okay, Hafiz will read. No, I will see Mary. I will see
Okay.
Mary hasn't read. Let's have I will see come. I will see.
Okay, I couldn't attend the party because of the rain.
Okay, so you see that underline because of the rain. Why is our preposition there?
Because
Because of the rain, sir.
What's the preposition? The preposition. Because we say a prepositional phrase is made up of a preposition and a noun phrase.
Of.
because of the reason or
Of.
I think Kelvin wants to answer.
Of.
Kelvin.
Because
We say what's the noun phrase there? What's the noun phrase?
enlargement.
Hafiz, I think you want to, what's the noun phrase in that?
Because of
the noun phrase.
Yes, in because of the rain. What's the noun phrase?
The party.
Oh no, I'm talking about because of the rain. That prepositional phrase. We said a prepositional phrase is made up of a preposition and a noun phrase. I have underlined because of the rain. So where's the noun phrase there?
Okay, sir. The noun phrase there is the rain.
The rain. Good. So once I have found that, then because of is the preposition. This we call this one a complex preposition. Okay, it's not just one word. Okay, so I think that we have seen what the prepositional phrase is made up of. Let's look at the next one. In spite of the rains, we went to the mall. Have you seen our prepositional phrases? There's one.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Have we seen that?
Yes, please.
in spite of the rain.
So we saying that in spite of is a complex preposition.
Yes,
there. So that forms a prepositional phrase. Then we can also go to the more. It's also a prepositional phrase because the preposition is what? To. The more is the noun phrase. Okay, that's it. So these are the prepositional phrases that we have in the sentences I gave you, and they can give you reason, like because of the rain. If you want to ask a question so that because of the rain becomes your answer, what would you say? What would we say? Yes, Ajiwa.
Sir, please, your question again.
If I want to ask a question, so that because of the rain becomes my answer, what would I ask? What question would I ask?
Why?
So put it in a
Why?
question and let me hear you.
Why couldn't you
Why
attend the
couldn't-
party?
Okay.
Great. And then, so that preposition, because it's reason, prepositional phrase, because it also answers the question why, it is also an adverbial phrase. I hope we get that.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
So those are the prepositional phrases. Then we have this one. Amaka stood in front of the house. Have we seen our prepositional phrase?
Yes, sir. In front of.
Yes, sir. In front.
What is that?
Front of.
In front. I want you to say front.
In front of the
Front. The O there is pronounced like the O in money
yes.
or come.
Front.
So let's say in front
Yes,
of.
sir.
Okay.
In front of.
Okay. And then in front of is a complex preposition. I want you to look at it well. The in is somewhere,
Yes.
the front is somewhere, and off is somewhere. We don't write it together. If you did that,
Okay.
then you would lose some marks when it comes to mechanical accuracy. You take half from your mark. So you don't forget that. Great. So that is our prepositional phrase. What question would I ask so that in front of the house becomes my answer?
Where? Where, please?
Ask the question, the full question. I think, Frank, I say we should not forget to raise our hands. Right? So, Hafiz is there. I'm listening. Hafiz, you are listening.
Sir, it's where?
So put the question. I want
Yes,
to.
sir. Please. Where did Amaka stood?
Because we have used did, you can't use stood. So let's say.
Stand. Yes, sir.
So say it. Let's go. Hafiz.
Yeah. Where did Amaka stand?
Good. Where did Amaka stand? And once you use where, what are we looking for? Place. Right. And
We're looking for place.
And the expressions that show place are also adverb. So that's an adverbial phrase.
Please.
Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You are. Okay. We have the last sentence, but I don't know whether you can see it. Can you see the last sentence?
Yes, sir.
Munaya answered the questions. The question
Yes,
in
sir.
an intelligent manner. Can we see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in an intelligent manner, what question would we ask so that becomes our answer?
Wait.
Ajiwa.
How did Munaya answer the question?
Great. And once it is how, that prepositional phrase will be written as what? What will be our answer? How? What would that be? Adverbial phrase. But in our minds, we know it is a prepositional phrase, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good. You've done well. So these were the things that you were to do for me. I have some sentences here, and you are to find the prepositional phrases in them, or the phrases in them. You have to state the type. Okay. to identify the types of phrases underlined in each of the following sentences. That will be your assignment too. So you have to do them and then you send them to me. Okay, you send it to, okay. I don't know whether you can send it to my email. Would you be able to do that?
Better. Yes, sir.
That'll be better, right?
Yeah.
So would you write it now?
Okay.
This Kweku Ba 76 at yahoo.com. Kweku Ba 76 at yahoo.com. Can we all see it?
Yes, sir.
Great. So that is our assignment. I'm leaving it. You can take a screenshot of it if you are using your phone, or you can write it quickly. And you can watch it on YouTube, watch it again, and then I'll get my answers. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Are there any questions, please? No questions.
I think
Okay,
Ajiwa
Ajiwa.
hands is up. Yeah.
Yes, Ajiwa.
Sir, please, is an obligatory preposition different from a preposition itself?
What we meant by an obligatory preposition was that before we would say a group of words is a prepositional phrase, then there should be a preposition as the head of that group. So when I have near, okay,
Yeah.
and then I add a noun phrase to it, maybe near the table. Near is a preposition, but I'm saying it is obligatory because I want to call this group a prepositional phrase, but near is a preposition. So there are no differences per se, but it's just a preposition. But when we say a group of words is a prepositional phrase, then the obligatory element there, which is the head, should be a preposition. I don't know whether I've been able to explain to you.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. Do we have any other question? Okay. You don't have any question. I'll be waiting for my answers in my email, and I hope that you get everything right. We will do our clauses later so that we get a sense of what phrases are and what clauses are. That way, we wouldn't be found wanting when we are asked questions. Ajewa, do you want to ask another question, please?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Please, the prepositional phrase, which was also an adverbial phrase. If you are asked in an examination or any exams,
There was.
yes. Which
That's
one would be?
You see, in the was, their marking scheme requires us to write whether it is an adverbial phrase or an adjectival phrase. Okay, so I was going to explain one to you, but I do not know whether we can go ahead. Can we do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's look at this one. That's quickly. Look at the sentence I'm writing. Please, can we read the sentence?
It's my brother.
The boy in the car is my brother. Okay, now I underline this one. In the car. Have you seen where it is?
Yes, sir.
Ajewa, are you there?
Yes, please.
Okay. Then we have this one. The boy sat in the car. Have we seen that too?
Yes.
So we see in the car in two different places. Can we observe the two?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What question would we ask so that in the car, which comes after boy, you answer? If you want in the car, after boy to be your answer, what would you say? What question would you ask? Yes, Obogu. Tell me. Hello. Okay, Hafiz. Hafiz is also gone. Ajewa.
Yes, sir.
What question would you ask so that in the car in question in example 1 will be your answer?
Where is the boy?
Look at it. So the boy in the car is my brother. Okay, let me help you people. Yeah, Kelvin, I guess you are back. Hello. Kelvin. Yes. What question would we ask? Okay, let me help you people. Ajewa asked the question. Today we were just identifying types of phrases, right? When we come to functions, we would explain it, what the phrases do, and then they will give us our names. But since you asked that question, I would like us to get this one. You see where in the car is in the first sentence. It is qualifying. It's qualifying the noun, boy. Okay, it describes the noun sort of. But when we come to the second one, it is telling us place. Where did the boy sit? Okay, so when we see these two, the one that sort of describes the noun behind it, because it is describing, we call it an adjectival phrase. Adjectival. Phrase, because it is qualifying. Okay. But when you have to answer the question, where did the boy sit? And it's talking about place, then that will be an adverbial phrase. Hello, Ajewa.
Hello, sir.
Please do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, please.
So we would want to get an understanding of what an adjectival phrase is and what an adverbial phrase is. The prepositional phrase can function in two ways, depending on where it is used in a sentence, according to the WAEC syllabus, as I was saying, or the marking scheme. So the prepositional phrase can either be an adjectival phrase or an adverbial phrase. So this is what we usually do. We say the prepositional phrase can either be an adjectival phrase or an adverbial phrase. Okay, so when we look at the first one, when in the car describes boy, because it's describing the noun boy, we call it an adjectival phrase. But when it answers the question where, then we call it adverbial phrase. Please, are we okay with that?
Yes, please. Yes.
You can still send me questions in my email and I'll reply them. I'll explain to you so that we will be able to get a clear understanding of the prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase has two functions. Sometimes it can even be a qualifier of an adjective. But at your level, the two that we learn are the adjectival phrase and then the adverbial phrase at SHS. I hope we have got what I'm saying.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much. It has been exciting coming your way and interacting with all of you in your various homes. Hafiz in Sandama, Maria Lucy, I don't know where. Ajewa, where were you?
Sir, please.
Like, where are you located?
Ofanko Barrier.
Oh, Accra, okay. That's great.
Yes, sir.
So Kelvin, Rachel, and all you wonderful people, it's been exciting coming your way. My name always is Dennis Amupa. And don't forget, I love you to bits. Bye for now. We meet some other time. Bye.